Steve Jobs, and this is in the New York Times today. Steve Jobs, he says here's the title. Jobs says Apple made mistakes with iPhone data. And this is the recent iPhone story in the news. It says, hoping to put a rest to the growing controversy over privacy, Stephen P. Jobs, Apple's chief executive, took the unusual step of personally explaining that while Apple had made mistakes in how it handled its location data on its mobile devices, it had not used the iPhone and iPad to keep tabs on the whereabouts of its customers. Okay, so pretty reasonable, right? So a little background on this. The way it works with this iPhone scandal now was that it was obtaining the location of the user, the iPhone, through a combination of triangulating your signal through the cellular phone towers, where you connect to with your phone to get serviced to the rest of the world, basically, and the internet. And it uses hotspots, I believe, so Wi-Fi. It uses the IP. It would use the IP addresses of nearby Wi-Fi hotspots to get the location of your iPhone, basically, and they would store it on your iPhone, but not only that, on your computer, and it could be accessed by anyone who had either your phone or your computer. So that raised a lot of concerns, especially about why it was being broadcast to Apple, what rate it was, and what they would be using it for. Because obviously, if you can get somebody's location in pretty close proximity, you could just, we could pick that guy up. He's over at Grand Central Station right now. Anybody with a cell phone could be tracked. It doesn't make any sense. So these are the interesting quotes here. And I read, we haven't been tracking anybody, Mr. Jobs said in an interview on Wednesday. Never have, never will. Now, that's just a deceitful remark. It doesn't address the question of why, about data collection in the first place, which it admits to doing, without people's knowledge. When you buy an iPhone, do you consent to your data being collected and whatnot? There's got to be an option to turn that off. How is it that Google, a for-profit company, has the ability to insert tracking schemes into Android, its operating system, which itself is based upon an open and free OS, which is, of course, Linux and Unix? How is it that Apple and Google can collect data about your location, but Microsoft never had that fucking option in any of its operating systems for computers? Okay, here are the interesting tidbits from the story now, and this is basically the proof. This is why they're lying. They said Apple also said that it updated its databases of Wi-Fi hotspots and cell towers by using its customers' phones as sensors. Excuse me. What the hell is that, man? Do you consent to your phone being used as a sensor for a fucking corporation? That is ridiculous. It doesn't make any fucking... Does anyone see the privacy concern here? This is an admission of guilt as far as I'm concerned. Whatever you call it, updating its databases. It sends fucking Wi-Fi. Whenever you walk by a Wi-Fi signal and your Wi-Fi is on your iPhone, it is sending the data of location of you and the location of the data of the Wi-Fi place, to fucking Apple. And not only that, but the iPhone, I'm pretty sure it has GPS and stuff. So if they really could track you pretty easily. I mean, you're just asking to be set up by all of these bullshit corporations by having these cool features on your phone. It may seem cool to you, but it's is just a way for them to get to you. Even having just a cell signal, they can pretty much triangulate your location. Not to get paranoid, but that's basically what it's come down to these days. Keep it real. They say, but it could not locate the users based on the file of the phone, and that it collected the information in an anonymous encrypted form. Well, what stops them from not encrypting it? What stops them from locating the users based on the file of the phone? They know exactly how to do it. They're basically saying this is how to do it. What's to stop them from doing it? If they really thought Osama bin Laden was talking on an iPhone in the United States, yeah, I'm pretty sure they would find his ass. Fast. The company cannot identify the phone user from the data. It said. It said, exactly. And this is the same company that admits, quote, what is it? What is the quote? It made mistakes. Oh, this is like a politician. Mistakes were made. You know, that's one of the most bullshit remarks you could ever hear. And here's another quote. Google acknowledged last week that it too collected data about the location of Wi-Fi hotspots and cell towers from its users. So Google's doing the exact same thing. Not surprising at all. They're such a fucking bullshit corporation. It's absolutely patently absurd to do this. I don't consent to Google basically using me as a fucking human tracking device. I am not a human tracking device. I am not some stupid patsy for a corporation by walking around with an iPhone. And that's what millions and millions and millions of people are doing. They're supporting a goddamn corporation's exploits in taking over the fucking world by gathering all this stupid bullshit data about everyday surroundings. What's next? They are, and watch this. Apple's statement contained a tidbit about its future product plan. The company said it was also collecting traffic data from its phones and tablets to create a crowd-sourced traffic database. That would enable Apple to provide real-time traffic information along with navigation advice. Google already uses Android phones to collect real-time traffic information. Don't you understand? They're already collecting data about you. They have the capacity to do it on a large scale now, and they could get information about you so easily. Any mobile phone really is unsafe nowadays, if you get down to it. You put the GPS on, or whatever, on the phone, you have the GPS in the phone now, they can just find who you are and just do the GPS. They will go to any means to catch somebody who they don't like. And people say, oh, well, don't test the waters. Well, fuck that shit. The government's doing some bullshit, you know, and I don't wish to be tracked. And this whole system is basically just here to entrap people. You know, everybody is dependent on phone now these days. We got the text messaging and shit everywhere. You know, the face-to-face conversations now with the phone. That's crazy, man. They can intercept you talking to somebody on a virtual communications platform using, you know, with your face and everything. Or you can catch you in the fucking act of speaking nefarious plans or whatever. Just saying. But I don't like the government to even have that option. They're collecting too much data. They say we haven't been tracking anybody, but that is, of course, a bullshit statement, like I said before. They may not be tracking us now, but just you wait. And if it were Osama, you know they would. You know, Jobs, he's gonna die soon. I don't know where I was going at, but I was just gonna leave it there. Who's gonna be the bullshit dropper now? You know. Okay, add-on video. It's also a deceitful remark because while Apple, the corporation, may not be tracking the users, individually of the iPhone, even though it is monitoring their habits at every fucking turn, and it admits that. Why not the government? Or any other person along the line? Because the government has the power to regulate these things and intercept and do all of these telecommunications, blah de blahs. So while Apple may not be collecting data about its users or keeping tabs on the whereabouts, what about the government? Why is nobody asking that question?